Hey guys, I'm Sai. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Keeping It Real with Andrew Thompson. The show is available on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Audio, podcasting, radio apps around the world. Your favorite podcast platform or app, we are there. Just search Ace Podcast Nation. Or you can go to our website, which is linked in the description. Today, it is Keeping It Real with Andrew Thompson, which is our wrestling series. We're going to talk a bit of Graps. And joining me to discuss this very matter is none other, after a long hiatus, been working hard, post-wrestling writer, interviewer, the man behind Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel, the best wrestling interviews on the internet, the man who writes the best updates in wrestling media, Mr. Andrew Thompson. How are you, sir?
Aside Jason Demetrius Jones, it is good to see you again, my brother. Looking clean, looking sharp.
Yeah, looking grey, my friend, as I age rapidly, week to week. Be the big 4-0 next year, which is it's good. I'm looking forward to it.
You don't look a day over 20.
Day over 20, that's right. So how have you been, my friend? We haven't done one for a few weeks.
You've been good, man. Chilling.
Working hard.
Yep. Chilling, man.
Interviewing the personalities of the wrestling world.
All the independent stars, man. I'm trying to get at them.
Oh, yeah. So who you spoke to recently, then?
Calvin Tankman, who signed with MLW last month. Well, it'll be two months ago when this interview goes up. Savannah Evans, Stu Bennett.
Yeah, legend.
And I'm got some other ones lined up with some people that I think some people are very familiar with. So we'll see how that comes. And I'm gonna shoot my shot at one specific wrestler and see what comes of it. I doubt it'll happen, but why not shoot, right?
Yeah, you gotta ask, man. Gotta ask. My I would really like to see Stu Bennett take a run at another run in an AEW or a WWE. I hope he does have one more go, because that, it's like the never-ending story in WWE. But they dropped the ball big time with Mr. Bennett.
I feel like he'd be great, like as the SmackDown general manager, something like that.
Yeah, I just think he's very good. He's like, I feel like British performers don't always connect with the American audience on the microphone. And I always felt like he did. I think he's a real good promo. YouTube.com/Andrew Thompson Interviews, custom URL. Subscribe to Mr. Thompson's YouTube channel. Fast becoming the go-to place for wrestling interviews. You will most likely find your favorite independent star and a couple of big names as well.
Just a couple.
Christian, you had on, did you? John Moxley, Stu Bennett. You've had some big boys on there, some big names. So there's lots going on in the wrestling world. We haven't spoken for a couple of weeks.
Nothing at all going on, man. It's been a quiet couple of weeks.
So first of all, I would like to hear about your weekly update for this week. Tell me what's in that.
Mr. MVP said that he's not interested in doing a new Nation of Domination.
Good to hear.
Him, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. MVP said that he is not trying to rehash the Nation. He said that he just wants to present himself, Shelton and Bobby, as three strong black men and role models. And it is just something as simple as he is friends with Bobby and Shelton outside of wrestling, and he just wants to make money with his friends, and that is all it is.
Sounds good to me, mate. Do you think, or should I say, who do you think would be a good fit for a kind of extra person in that little group?
Ricochet.
Oh yeah,
because I think
exactly who I was going to say.
And MVP even said this during the interview He was on the Say Less with Cass podcast. That's what I'm referring to. But he kind of said something. It was kind of harsh what he said, but it was kind of the truth. He said if Ricochet could wrestle, if Ricochet could talk, if Ricochet could be on the mic how he wrestled, he'd be a millionaire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
Ricochet is ridiculous. So,
but he was just like his promo skills, like just not equivalent
but
to his wrestling skill. And I think him being like him having like MVP to speak for him, it'll be great. Because I don't think Bobby's that great on the mic either.
no, he's not. And I
And
think the problem with Ricochet as well is he never gets the chance to kind of improve his mic skills and test different ways of doing it
oh no,
because
no,
they don't give him the mic, do they? So
I'm gonna combat that real quick, just real quick. I remember it was that stretch last year when they did give him like a
yeah, but
couple
they
weeks on the
gave him
microphone.
garbage.
They gave him garbage to work with, but I just think Ricochet can be good on the mic. I think it's just his voice inflection. Like I really think that's all it is. Like it's not enough force and it's not enough bass there. Like how MVP when MVP talks, you listen to him when he talks because he has that type of voice and that bass in his voice where you kind of demand your attention. Like with Ricochet, it's kind of like he got like a kind of like a soft voice in a way, so it's not really like people kind of take a step back. But like when he step in the ring, everybody pays attention. So I think it would be like great if he joined the Hurt Business and that had MVP basically do the work for him, like basically
Yeah,
do the
man.
mic work for him. Because Ricochet better than everybody in that group when they're in the ring. But
Yeah, I think I also think Ricochet would be good with like a Paul Heyman, and have a little heel run with him as well because Ricochet is special, and this is why his mic work didn't work last year. Was when they was having him say stuff like superheroes, or I'm a superhero, and this, and he was trying to be like the everyday man, like he's the same as all of us. But it's like, no, man, you can flip out the ring and land on your feet and do all this crazy shit.
I damn
So
sure can't do that.
yeah. So like let's not go with that. Let's go with he's like one of the most amazing performers of this generation, better than everyone. And I think a heel run could provide that kind of angle for it, especially if they've got someone like MVP or Paul Heyman telling you week in week out how special he is, and then he goes and does it. I think could really work. Did you notice on NXT this week, they had Dexter Lumis do a flip out the ring and land on his feet, except they edited it because so he did it and he apparently I heard or I read that he basically he did it but landed on a crash mat and then they cut it so he landed on his feet so it looked like he flicked out the ring and landed on his feet and I was like, yeah, Ricochet did that for reals live in front of a crowd and it was so incredible, and yeah, they still can't do anything with him. And as I said to you off air, I wanted to ask you about this. So say what you will about Paul Heyman, and I'm a massive fan, as you know, of the Good Brothers. I love them. I think they're real
Don't
entertaining dudes.
don't let him lie to you, y'all. He was just trashing them off air. Don't let him lie to you.
But say what you will about Paul Heyman, whether you think he's trustworthy or he's a liar, blah blah. I don't really care about all that. When he was in charge of Raw, was the most enjoyable that Raw has been for a long, long time. Even at 3 hours, because they were building up people like Apollo Crews. They were building up Andrade and Garza. Austin Theory had just joined Seth Rollins' group. I was excited to see where that was going because I felt like that was a real good fit. They had Aleister Black was in featured storylines. Then there was someone else as well, but he was all about building these young, fresh faces who haven't really had much to go with and really been given any strong storylines to get their teeth into. And then on the other side of it, during that period on SmackDown, literally the only thing which I was interested in was the Hack storyline, which they've now dropped. Bray Wyatt, because I'm a mark for Bray Wyatt. I enjoy Bayley and Sasha, and that is literally it. Like Raw was so much better for me, and I finally was like, yes, they're giving us something different. They're building new people up, and they fired Paul Heyman, and Raw is literally unwatchable. So I watched it this week because I knew we were doing the show, but the last couple of weeks I haven't watched Raw because I've tried to and I've got a little bit in. I can't watch it. The only thing which interests me is the MVP stuff and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and Sasha and Bailey.
Hurt business.
The rest of it is pretty much garbage, which is a shame because I think Drew Galloway is doing an excellent job as champion. He's got everything. I don't want to see him versus Dolph Ziggler for the title. I don't massively want to see him versus Randy Orton, but I suppose at least it's something different. But
I feel
still,
like they're gonna take the title off
I'd
him, right?
rather. Yeah, I do too. And do you know what? I would rather see a heel Ricochet join Bobby Lashley's group, then build up Ricochet over the next couple of months as a unbelievable talent that he is, as one of the top heels on Raw, and at the same time have Drew keep doing his thing, keep running through people like whoever, Randy Orton, whatever, and then build to a Ricochet taking the title off him as the top heel at the end of the year. I'd rather see a long-term plan like that, which will do more for these fresh guys. Like, if your ratings are in the toilet anyway, which they are, let's try and create some new stars, like proper new stars.
I think that's
Let's
what Paul Heyman was trying to do, but but like the ratings were still declining, like because it takes time to build new stars. You
Yeah, of
can't
course
just
it does. But at
like
least
you
you've got an
can't just.
excuse when,
I
like,
mean, that was kind of like the thing that was kind of out there. I can't remember exactly who reported that, but I believe it was I believe it was Meltzer. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that.
yeah,
Anybody,
I think it was, yeah.
but he was just like they gave Paul Heyman like a 19-month window to build new stars and to see if the ratings would go up. And like I mean, it take time, bro. Like you can't just throw somebody new out there and expect people to be like, "Oh yeah, I got to tune in to see this guy." Like the internet wrestling community only makes so much up of the actual fan base that actually tunes into weekly
Yeah,
WWE
yeah.
programming. So it's hard to actually build these stars over time. Like these people aren't The Rock and Austin anymore. Like Austin could draw in 3 million people just like that off an
But it
announcement.
takes time. It takes, like,
That's what I'm saying. But I
you
mean,
got to,
but that's
they
not
needed
what
to
they
do it for like a year at least of
man.
building up those people.
But bro, you know WWE reactionary as hell. Like they not about to sit there and wait a whole 4 or 5 years for these people to become these massive stars when they feel like they got people like Mr. Orton, Mr. Twitch channel over there.
But
I
bro,
still ain't over
like,
that.
I don't blame you, mate. But like, if he was going to fire someone and make them a scapegoat, surely you'd make the SmackDown show, which is rubbish, over the Raw show, which is good, and they're building new stars. You'd fire the guy on SmackDown, surely, and then put Paul Heyman on SmackDown as well as Raw, and build new stars on SmackDown too. It makes no sense to me, other than Vince just wants someone who is gonna just agree with him, which is Bruce Pritchard all over, because it's really hurt Raw. Like Aleister Black has barely been seen over the last month. He's done a couple of little things. They beat him on Monday, just like as if it was nothing, and I was just like, oh my days, what is wrong with these people? So I was saying to a friend,
Hey, hold on. That's the Loomis thing you were just talking about when
yeah,
they said he flipped. Somebody, somebody on Twitter said that WWE gentrified the spat. Oh, that was funny.
yeah, they just, I look right.
I
My
like that
point.
the Loomis though.
Yeah, I like Dexter Loomis as well. I've seen people moaning about him and stuff, but I quite like it. I think he's doing some good stuff. Like, what's bothering me is, and I said this to a friend earlier, is now the way things are. Like, there's no excuse anymore. The scapegoat needs to be Vince, Kevin Dunn, and Bruce Pritchard. You need to get them out creative. You need to get fresh ideas, fresh face, fresh people booking the shows, and just ignore the ratings and build for the future. Because the way they're going, they are going to tank their TV shows to irreparable places where they're never going to be able to recover. Because, like, it's just not good. They're focusing their shows around Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, um, who else? Dolph Ziggler. Like, come on, it's 2020. Like,
But you know they about to they gonna try to pop a rating like real hard when they whenever they get back in fans, because I know they're gonna bring back somebody big, like a real big name, to try to get like a high rating. But that's only gonna last like a week. Like you can't keep relying on these names, man. Like you gotta build up the next group
but
of stuff. And like the thing is, it's not even hard. I really don't. I never think it's hard to build new stars. Like if you make people care, those people will become stars. That's all it is.
people,
You can put anybody in a great position, and then people will start caring about them. It's literally that simple.
well, there's two things, mate. People like winners, one, and two, during lockdown where they're recording a lot of stuff, so it's not live. There's no excuse. They should have spent the last 3-4 months building new stars because because they're recording stuff. You can pay off storylines. You haven't got a crowd shitting over, poor decisions or poor turns. You can literally put what guy you want in each position, heel or face, whatever, and you can build your storylines. You could tell stories over 6 weeks and make new stars, and they have just dropped the ball again. Only difference is now, instead of dropping it just on wrestler X, Y, and Z, they've just dropped it on the whole TV show as a Raw and SmackDown. I think have been, poor, real poor. And I'm as a wrestling fan, I'm concerned at Raw and SmackDown. I don't give a shit about rating, never have, but I'm concerned because I look at the roster that WWE has got as a whole, the people signed to a WWE contract, and I think, wow, that is the most talented roster they have ever had. And then I look at the product that they are putting out, and outside of NXT, it is terrible. Now, how long can you do that before the damage is just too much and people won't ever come back? But there we go. Like, if you want to pop a rating, have Matt Riddle win the title off AJ Styles the other week. That'll pop a rating. Do something different.
Matt Riddle is about to hop in that feud with Mr. Baron Corbin.
God, Jesus Christ.
Riddle did the After the Bell podcast. He said he was excited to work with Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin is held back by his gimmick, in my opinion. The guy, I like his ring work. I like that he does different stuff each week, different stuff with his matches. I like that he's protected his finisher so much. What I don't like is the King gimmick, and what I don't like is the garbage material they give him in terms of promos because of the gimmick, like the wording and things. Like, I do think that he could be very interesting and be one of the best heels in wrestling, but they don't give him the opportunity to shine in that slot because they want things done a certain way and said a certain way and use certain words, and it is soul destroying. It's got to be soul destroying for the workers too. But yeah, you want to pop a rating, especially when it was taped. Have Riddle win the title and leak that there's a possibility of a title change. Why not? Like, that's pop a rating that way rather than bringing back ex-wrestler from 15 years ago. This just makes no sense to me. Like, Riddle might come out of that Baron Corbin feud hot. He might come out really on fire, picked up a couple of wins, and be ready to do something. But if they really wanted to cement him as a superstar out the gate, you put the title on him. So in my opinion, if you do the title match, you put the title on him if you are serious about making him a superstar.
I was about to mess with you and share the screen and play the video of Goldberg beating the Fiend for the Universal title.
Jesus Christ. It just breaks me every time. Just another example of their ineptness. All right, let's talk about something positive. NXT and AEW has been very, very good for months now. And NXT, I think, has put out the odd dud, but overall has been very good. And when I say dud, I mean just slightly worse than AEW that week. Most weeks, I think there's not much in it. they're both excellent. Now and again, I think NXT has dropped the ball a little bit. I think they're doing a great job with Killer Cross. I think they're doing a great job with Dexter Lumis. They're booking him well. I don't know that I'd have had Timothy Thatcher tap out in the main event this week. That seemed a bit odd to me after you've just had him send Riddle away from the territory. That was a bit weird. But I understand also, they didn't want to beat Finn. Were you surprised that Dexter Lumis was the one to qualify for the ladder match? When you look at what a ladder match is, Finn seems the obvious choice. Timothy Thatcher, could do some interesting stuff, but they went with Dexter.
No, I wasn't surprised. I think he was the one that should have been in there anyway. I mean, I do think it would have been cool if Finn would have, got a shot at the NXT North American title. But I mean, I don't think Finn's in NXT to honestly win titles. Honestly, I think he's there to help elevate the next crop of titles. Of course, he's gonna pick up wins, but he ain't gonna be he's not gonna be losing. But I think it's not. I don't think Finn's. I don't even think Finn would want to. He just seems like the type of person that wouldn't even want to go to NXT just to take all the championships. It would just be to help the next generation of talents. And I think that's but for out of everybody that's in there right now, I know it's Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, and next week it's either going to be Ridge Holland, Damian Priest, or who's the third man in that match? Ridge Holland, Damian Priest. It's somebody else. I can't remember. I'm blanking on the third person.
What can you tell me about Ridge Holland? Never heard of him myself.
He's in NXT UK.
Okay.
That's all I know.
I'll have a look now. But yeah, I just I think Finn Balor's in there for his name value, isn't he, in NXT, to give NXT that bit of just an extra superstar in terms of maybe their battle with AEW as well, just giving them I think it's Grimes, isn't it? No. Who's the third person? Only Lorcan.
And I think Oni gonna
win. I kind of think if they're putting this new guy in, that maybe he'll get in, just because otherwise I don't know why you'd put him in there.
No, I'm telling you, this is gonna happen. Oni gonna win,
unless they're gonna start a feud where someone costs him.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be him versus Damian Priest going into a singles feud, and Oni's gonna win the match. Because you already got too many big dudes in the match already. You got Bronson and Jackson. You need some. Well, Oni just crazy as hell, but yeah, I guess you could say he's a high flyer for sure.
What? Who do you think Finn Balor will face at Takeover? Because I'm assuming
I don't think he's gonna be on the card.
Match. Do you not?
No, I don't think he's gonna be on the card.
I was wondering whether they may bring back Volta and do that match, but it doesn't look like that's happening.
That would be real cool, honestly, if they could bring back
Volta. I was surprised to see what seemed to be at least the start of a potential Undisputed Era face turn. By some of their mannerisms, and they obviously attacked Imperium. Would you be on board for an Undisputed Era face run?
It won't work.
I think personally, and it's just my opinion, that they're waiting for the fans to be allowed back in the show before they move them to SmackDown. I think Undisputed Era will go to Raw or SmackDown, but I think they want them. Maybe the first SmackDown after the, with fans, you have the Adam Cole baby chant, surprise debut. That would kind of work. Because there's nothing left for them to do, really, unless they do a split angle. And then I'm not sure they want to do the split angle, because I think at some point they do want to put them on Raw or SmackDown. And if you run the split, because especially with NXT being on USA now, I think if you run the split angle on NXT and then move them to Raw or SmackDown, if you want them together, you've got to run a whole angle putting them back together. Does that make sense?
No.
Do you not think?
I'm just playing.
What did you think of the Adam Cole, Pat McAfee heated argument?
Don't get worked into a shoot.
I saw loads of people saying, "Oh my God, it's real," blah blah blah, and I was like,
Don't work into his shoe.
come on,
It was,
bro."
it was too choreographed to even to make me think it
Yeah,
was real.
Adam Cole's so good though at stuff like that, and he's very very good.
The only thing that made me even slightly consider that it was real, because he brought up the height thing, and I've seen a lot of people criticize Adam Cole for that. So that was probably like the one thing that kind of made me think it was maybe he was serious. But Adam Cole, he played it real well. But like once they showed it on NXT TV, I was like, oh yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah,
But maybe it's Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole at Takeover 30. You never know.
I think it will be.
Maybe Pat about to get in the ring.
And
I don't
he's
think
sharp.
I really don't think I think Pat might have a good match. I wouldn't
Well,
put it past.
he's an athlete, isn't he?
He's
And
athletic as
Adam
hell.
Cole's very very good. So I could see that being very. I know maybe it's not going to be like a 5-star match, but I could see it being good. It's very rare we get anything when it's on Takeover. It's very rare we get like a bad match, is it? Let's be honest.
Takeover's on the same without the actual fans though, bro. Like
Yeah,
even the Takeover in your house,
yeah.
the Takeover in your house was good, but it wasn't like how the
It's
other
not the
ones
same,
were.
is it? It's
Like
not the same without the
the
fans.
energy is just different. Like, do you remember how Takeover Portland was? Like the energy was just crazy. Like, but you can't make that type of stuff up. Like, so I mean,
No.
but wrestling is suffering without fans. Like, I don't think people. I think people are starting to really truly realize how much fans are critical to the television. Like, it's not the
Everyone
same.
except Vince McMahon.
Did you listen to the second quarter conference call yesterday?
I haven't listened to it yet. No, I'm going to listen to it a bit later on.
Bro, Vince McMahon
Anything
sounds
interesting
like
from that?
he sounds defeated. Like he sounds like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but he don't sound like Vince McMahon.
Look, I wish the man, the human being, no ill will whatsoever. But I've said many times, when you've got a 70 whatever year old man booking and writing a TV show for people my age or even your age or even like
We're in the key demo.
Yeah, man, it's like
18 to 49.
he's out of touch, mate. And I'm not like trying to say it to be a dick, but he is. He doesn't understand what people want to watch anymore, and that's an issue. So someone needs to
let me ask you this: if Vince McMahon, this is just like a random question, but if Vince McMahon was to do a 3-hour shoot interview, who you think would be a good person to conduct the interview?
Me, because I would ask all the right questions. No, it's an interesting question.
I think Stone Cold would be the perfect person.
See. It's hard, isn't it? Because you want someone who is going to ask the questions. So
I don't think Stone Cold would ask him about Owen Hart.
Yeah. So like,
I don't think Stone Cold would ask
no. But like, I look at it this way: like, do you go for like an ex-wrestler like Stone Cold or someone like this who will ask him certain questions, but won't ask questions which may be, the tough questions, or do you go for someone from like wrestling media? But then it's about picking the right person because you don't want someone who's just grateful for the opportunity and is not going to ask anything difficult because they don't want.
They don't want to piss them off.
Yeah, they don't want to lose the opportunity to get access and all this crap, like, which I get completely. Look, if WWE phoned me tomorrow and said, look, you can interview whoever, but you can't ask about this, and this, I wouldn't ask about it because I'd want that access. It's just the way it is. But ultimately, that's a very difficult question. Stone Cold, yeah, I think he'd be a good choice. Another good one I think would be, I've forgotten his name, but he works for AEW now. He's got a YouTube channel. I can't remember his name. Was the guy, he works for AEW, or he did work for AEW for a short while. He's got quite a big YouTube channel, interviews loads of wrestlers. What's his name?
Chris Van Vliet?
Yeah, I think he could be quite interesting. He's quite a good little interviewer. Not a little interviewer, but he's quite a good interviewer.
Yeah, I
I
like
think you.
Chris.
I think you'd be good. Sean Ross Sapp would be good. I'm looking like people who've got. So like the reason I think Sean Ross Sapp will be good is because, like, Fightful's not reliant on just the WWE for their stuff, or Post Wrestling's not just reliant on WWE. So they would ask, you would ask you would ask questions that we'd all want to answer to. You wouldn't just ask
I wouldn't even think I would have nothing to lose by asking him any crazy questions. I don't get WWE interviews anyway, so, so I ain't
exactly.
got nothing. Yeah,
that's it, isn't it? So like,
so I wouldn't have nothing to lose.
And at the end of the day, it's how you ask it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's all it is. It's just how you like. You can't come out the gate all super aggressive, like
yeah. Go, hey, nice to meet you, Vince McMahon. Why did you kill Owen Hart?
right. You can't say nothing like. I think you got to kind of like ease your way into the question, like maybe. Yeah, but start off the conversation, maybe talking about Owen's career and what he thought of Owen as an individual, and then you could transition into from your recollection, what went wrong that night, and then I'm pretty sure you can't talk about all the legal shit, but
Yeah, for sure. We had just reminded me of something. Someone requested on the Facebook page that me and you review the Wrestling with Shadows. Not Wrestling with Shadows. What's it called? The series? I'm so sorry, man. My memory is shot. It's late here. What's the documentary series that we were watching? Like the wrestling one? With all. What's the documentary series which is just finished? Dark Side of the Ring. Sorry, my memory.
Oh.
So someone asked if we would review Dark Side of the Ring, like an episode a week, starting with season 1, episode 1, and go like an episode each week. So if you're up for that, then I'm up for that, and we can just go through, watch one each week, and just like end the show, each episode, and kind of talk about it. But that was the request. Okay. AEW, how do you think they've been recently?
I think AEW been doing real good. I've honestly enjoyed both NXT and AEW. It's a lot of damn wrestling going on right now, so I'm trying to keep up with all of it. Impact's doing some good stuff, real good stuff. Impact has been really good so far. Like they're doing some real good stuff. Do you see what they've done with Deonna Purrazzo? Like why? Like she's like suddenly interesting. Like on TV.
She's always been interesting to me, man.
I don't mean it like that. I mean like
I know what you mean.
Like
but
character wise, like she's been like interesting on Impact. And look, she got released a couple months ago, and now she's a women's champion. Like
WWE wasted her, man. She should have been up there, like right up there with the top of NXT or the top of SmackDown, on top of Raw women.
Like doing these
super talented.
Doing these interviews, she kept saying that they was like, "Oh, you need a character." I'm like, "Bro, what character? Like, she's just good at wrestling, so let her go out there and."
She's good at wrestling, and she can
that's
cut
her character.
Promo.
That's her character. She can wrestle really
That's
good.
That's literally what everyone's character is.
Most of the
time.
Who's
at the top.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about AEW. What do you think of the TNT Open Challenge? They've been bringing in like different indie stars. They've had
Cody about to smash all. I was like, no, I'm stop saying that. I'm just playing. This is a joke.
So who have we had? We've had Warhorse this week. You've had Eddie Kingston, who's now signed with AEW.
Sonny Kiss.
Sonny Kiss. There's been a couple of others who've come in like just for a week. How do you think that's going?
I think it's good, man. I think it's good to create some like, some buzz, and I think you giving more people spotlights. I think it's kind of good that they taking a break from it next week because Mr. Matt Cardona is going to be teaming with Cody next week, which is very interesting.
What do you think about him coming in?
Looking good, man. Looking in shape.
Jacked.
That's good for him.
So here's the question. Here's the question. 2 questions. First question: will Cody turn on Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona eventually, or will Matt Cardona turn on Cody eventually?
I don't think it's gonna be any turning because I don't think he's signed. So I don't think I don't think they would even do something like that.
I think he's gonna come in for like a couple of weeks.
He's gonna be in it for like 5 shows, and then like I mean, Tony Khan has said during the interview I think it was a PW insider. He said that eventually he'll have to start making cuts just because of how much money they've lost because of the
Yeah, of
pandemic,
course.
and they've lost so much money. Like so, like you know what I'm saying. You can't keep all these people on the payroll that you don't use. Like somebody got to get cut. Like he said, he's trying his hardest not to, but eventually it's gonna be a day when some folks gonna have to get let go.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah,
he
of
don't, I
course.
mean, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to, but that's just that's just what it
Just
is.
the reality of the situation,
Yeah.
unfortunately, for,
But,
for many places.
I mean, like signing people to like a 5-show deal ain't nothing wrong. Like I remember, that's what Riho was on before they signed her. They signed her to like a
Yeah, man.
5-show deal, and then she got signed full time. Like ain't nothing wrong with that. Just to see if it work out. And I don't even think that was their decision. I think it was her decision because she was just like she doesn't know if she wants to be in America full time. But,
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Riho, she's still wrestling. She wrestling in Stardom
She's doing
right now.
well.
Yeah,
Okay.
she in Stardom wrestling right now. Like I think she wrestled like last week.
Okay.
Like she's still working in Stardom.
So my next question is, so what I like about AEW. So we've been kind of waiting for this storyline between, you had Kenny Omega, and you got the Young Bucks, the Elite, and then you've got Adam Page. And Adam Page looked like he was going to be the one to turn. And then at that pay-per-view at the end of the match, they made it look like the Bucks and Kenny were going to super kick Adam Cole just for a second. So that gave you a bit of doubt. But ultimately, you always kind of thought eventually Adam Page is going to turn and he's going to go and have a big singles run. And then lately, they've been laying the seeds for Adam Page to align with FTR. And you're thinking, yeah, that makes sense. Then, just to make it, just so it's not obvious what's going to happen, they give you a little hint that maybe Kenny Omega is going to turn heel and bring back the cleaner gimmick. So you've got that aspect to it. And then now you've also got the added thing that everyone thinks they're going to do a kind of 4 Horsemen revival, reboot, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, with FTR, they did this contract signing, and you had Arn Anderson as their consultant. Another interesting twist because of his links to Cody, and it makes sense that if you were going to do a 4 Horsemen reboot, that Cody would be involved somehow. So I guess the question is, number one, would you like to see a 4 Horsemen like stable? And the second part of that question is, would Cody, Adam Page, and FTR be the perfect 4 for the roles?
I think storyline wise, maybe Cody and MJF being in the same group wouldn't, because I feel like Cody still kind of has a vendetta against MJF. So I don't think that was like, I don't think that's something that you could just sweep under the rug and be like, hey, we're friends now. Like, I don't think that's something that's
No.
going to work.
So FTR, Hangman, and Cody as the 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that's the way it's going to go. I think probably, I can see Cody turning on the Elite. I could definitely see that, but I
Well, if
definitely.
you notice, he hasn't been on being the Elite for weeks and weeks, which I find quite interesting. So he's like, there is like a bit more distance. Like I think he said in an interview that it's because their schedules are so busy and they don't necessarily spend as much time like traveling together and stuff like that as what they would have used to be.
They're around each
Yeah,
other all the damn time. He's a liar.
yeah. Which
But
means,
I
why is
think
he distancing himself from
I
that
think
show?
this year might be. I think I give it like 2 months before we start to see the beginning of Kenny Omega as the man in AEW.
Yeah.
I think
But
that's.
there's no reason why Adam Page and Kenny Omega cannot both turn. Doesn't mean they have to turn on each other. They could split up. So when they lose the titles, they could both turn heel and then just agree to go their separate ways. Or you could have like, I don't know, say for instance, you could have the Hangman and Kenny Omega face the Young Bucks for the title. Young Bucks win. Then you have Adam Page attack the Bucks after the match, and you think Kenny Omega is going to make the save. He kind of just looks and watches, and then the FTR come in and join in the beatdown. So you got like a 3-on-2 situation after the match, and then as everyone thinks that Kenny Omega's going to make the save, he joins in, the four of them beat down the Young Bucks. Then you separate Kenny Omega, he just goes and does his own thing as the cleaner. Says he's fed up with the Elite, fed up with everyone, does his whole cleaner gimmick, and goes right to the top to feud with whoever, take the title eventually. And then you separate the Hangman, FTR, potentially Cody as a Hangman, as a group of the four Horsemen. I don't think there's a reason why you cannot do that. Like, just because Hangman, say, turns, doesn't mean Kenny Omega can't turn as well. And if they both turn, doesn't mean they have to stay together. Did that make sense?
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you just disagree with me for the sake of it.
Of course, that's entertaining podcasting, right there. But I wanted to ask you. So I've been seeing this quote from the news update, yesterday's news update, going around a lot. When Booker T was like critiquing Big E, and he said that Big E needs to change in order for Big E to get this singles push that he's about to get. He said he needs to like change his character a little bit and tweak some stuff. Who you think? You think Big E need to change in order to be world champion?
I don't necessarily think he does. Look, I love the New Day as performers. I think they're all incredible. I really do. I think they're so entertaining. However, I am and have been for a while kind of bored of the gimmick of the New Day. As entertaining as I find all those guys, I am kind of over it. So I wouldn't be against them doing a couple of things. You could either do a split angle where they turn on each other, do a triple threat, and then just have one triple threat match between the three of them. Have them beat the crap out of each other, have a great match between the three of them, and then just have them go and do their separate things. You could have Big E turn, go and do his heel run, and I think he'd be better in a babyface role, but he could do, like, he's done a heel gimmick before, which worked. And then you could keep Kofi and Xavier together to strengthen the tag team division. Or you can, there's loads of ways you could do it.
But I don't even think you need to break. Like, I think it's just
you don't have to break them up either. No,
but
you are right.
All I'm saying is the only thing I think that needs to be changed. Just have Big E be more serious.
Yeah,
like you don't need to go out. Like Booker T was talking about like changing his ring gear and shit like that.
No,
like he was like, I'm like, bro, all you got to do is just have Big E, just be more serious. That's it. All you got to do is be more serious, and people will take him seriously. People already take him seriously. Obviously,
yeah, you just have to have him say, "The time for play is over. I want that title."
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure everybody would much rather prefer him as world champion than Strowman, if I'm being honest.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because Strowman has been trash. So,
mate, right. Do you know what? I'm not going to go into this too much detail, but the thing which annoys me about it is the potential.
We talking about Strowman, right?
Yeah. The potential for a Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt long-term feud. Potentially, the stories they could have told were incredible. So much they could have told, like a really interesting backstory to Strowman, and they could have filmed all these like cool vignettes about like him before the Wyatt family and how he came to the Wyatt family, and they kind of like really half-assed that aspect of it, whereby Strowman just kind of mentioned it, and Bray Wyatt cut some great promos, did some great stuff with the stuff he does, but I just feel like they killed Strowman in many ways. Like they've made him into this.
We have talked about this
stereotypical dumb country guy.
We talked about this
made him into
too many times on this podcast. The run is 2 years late. It's
Yes.
2 years late, 3 years late. It should have happened 3 years ago. He should have beat Brock Lesnar at No Mercy 2017. Should have won a Universal title back then. He wasn't even supposed to be champion. Roman was supposed to be champion.
Yeah. Do you know what I hope?
Roman is a smart man, so Roman's staying home.
yeah. Well, he's clever, isn't he? Do you know what I really hope? I really hope that they have Strowman get like taunted into a title match by someone. I don't care who. The Miz or John Morrison or Matt Riddle, AJ Styles, whoever.
Big E.
There you go.
Yeah.
And have a title match on SmackDown. Announce it before the show or whatever, so you build it up so people are watching. Have the Fiend cost Bray Wyatt. Fuck's sake. Have the Fiend cost Braun Strowman the title. Put the title on someone else. Do the Fiend versus Strowman as they're going to do to complete the storyline, because I don't want them to just drop it, because they've got to complete the story now. But like, have the Fiend squash Braun Strowman and just bring Braun Strowman back with a complete different gimmick. If that means you align him with Bray Wyatt again for a short period to get this new gimmick over, whether it's like a similar to the Fiend type thing or it's something completely different, and he stays with the Fiend or Bray Wyatt for a little bit, and then Bray Wyatt sets him free, blah, 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 I don't care, whatever. But just get the title off Braun. Don't put it on the Fiend. Put it on Big E. Put it on AJ Styles. Put it on someone. I wouldn't be against putting it on AJ Styles. If he had dropped the title to Matt Riddle, you could have put the title, have AJ beat Braun on a SmackDown because the Fiend cost him.
So
then have Big E become the number one contender. Have AJ and Big E put on an absolute barn burner at SummerSlam, and have Big E win the title.
And so you can't even use Daniel Bryan. He's out the equation.
Yeah,
he about to go on maternity leave. So
this is why I just don't understand it anymore, mate. I don't understand what they're doing in that company. Like, so much talent.
But they said Bryan is helping with the creative stuff. So that kind of explains Grand Metalik getting the title shot. I swear that's just Daniel Bryan all over right there.
Playing with people.
I promise you that's Daniel Bryan.
So who's the number one contender for the WWE title currently?
Randy Orton.
Sorry, the Universal title. Sorry, mate.
There's a one.
Right. And Grand Metalik is the Intercontinental title shot person, yeah.
And it's up for grabs right now between. Oh, man, I think it's just Bray Wyatt, but they like people are saying Big E, but I think people are just associating him with being world champion, and he could be going after the Intercontinental title. Maybe it's him and AJ for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam.
Do you know what they should have done, man? They should have had Matt Riddle beat AJ, then had Chad Gable or Drew Gulak win the Intercontinental title, that 4-way, and then you have Gable or Gulak versus Riddle for the Intercontinental title. Woo! That would have been a banger. And then you could have done what I said about the Fiend cost Braun the title against AJ, and do AJ versus Big E at SummerSlam. Why aren't I booking this shit? Because I book better shit than them.
Because they can't fly you in.
Yeah, well, I could book it from home, bro. And do you know what? I told you months ago, when they first released Rusev.
You didn't.
I told you that Rusev was going to come back and save Lana. You remember it. I'm going to clip it just like I clipped this. Previously on Ace Podcast Nation.
Before you end the show, one last thing. Man.
You're a bad man, see? You're a bad man.
That clip is legendary.
So I'm gonna go back when Rusev comes back and saves Lana, and the crowd goes wild. Rusev Day.
Just like how you claimed, you said Cage was going to debut at Double or Nothing.
You're a bad man. You're a bad man. So Grand Metalik is the number one contender for the Intercontinental title. I swear to God, if this company fucks with me and puts the title on Grand Metalik after they didn't put it on Riddle, after they didn't put it on Matt Riddle, I will.
Man, you got to play a long-term game with Riddle, man. You can't just give him everything.
No, because my point is, it was his second week. So if he comes in, beats AJ, who's an established...
I get what you saying.
Arguably, like AJ Styles is the only new star they've built in the last 15 years.
They did a great job with Kevin Owens. They did a great job with a somewhat decent job with Samoa Joe.
Right. They did a good job with Kevin Owens when they first brought him in. And then ever since, they flip-flopped back and forth with him, giving him the occasional run.
No. That's in the last year,
they've done nothing.
No. Listen, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they've built him into a star, which he is, regardless of whether they trashed him or not the last 2 or so years. Kevin Owens is a star. He's a star.
Okay. But is Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens a star in spite of the WWE rather than because of the WWE? Are they stars because they're so damn good on the microphone that people are
Yeah,
captivated by
they're
what they
stars
say?
on their own,
Like,
but that's by way of them being under this banner.
yeah. But I bet you if you went and grabbed any Samoa Joe promo from the WWE and you had pretty much any other superstar say the exact words verbatim, I bet you they wouldn't sound as intimidating and as good as Samoa Joe does it.
Of course, I'm
Samoa
saying
Joe
that.
made their garbage material look superb. Speaking of superstars, which is where this match should have been on Superstars, we had Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus in a bar fight. You
It
could speak
happened.
about it. You could speak about this because I don't want to. It's
It
garbage,
it happened. Let's move on.
dog shit. Um, Impact Wrestling brought in the Good Brothers. Boop. Good to see. Glad to see those boys getting paid and working again. Deonna Purrazzo is champion of Impact Women's Division. I thought it was very interesting that she came in pretty much straight away, beat Jordan Grace, who they've built her up as a big badass champion. Were you surprised that they had her beat? Sorry. Well, if were you surprised they had her beat Jordan Grace like straight away? But then going back to like Riddle, that's what I just said. Is if you have someone come in and beat your champion, a la Kevin Owens over John Cena, they are automatically a superstar. They are automatically viewed by everyone as top tier talent. What they did with
Yeah, but
Deonna Purrazzo.
Donna came in like 2 months ago. Not 2 months
No, it
ago, but
wasn't
she
that
came.
long ago, was it? Certainly, like I thought she'd only been on like one or two shows.
Now she was like in four or five shows, bro.
All right, okay. All right.
She was, but I mean, they built her like real nice. They just came in and built her as a credible threat that she could beat Jordan Grace, and she beat Jordan Grace, and it worked, and people care. And now she's about to have a good run as champion. And I'm pretty sure whenever she drops the title, it'll be to somebody who they think is worthy of her
Yeah,
dropping the title to. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I like Deonna Purrazzo. I think she's
very
great.
talented lady. I was interested to see that like one of the bright spots of Impact over the last couple of years has been Sami Callihan. He's been very good. What do you think about what they're doing with him currently?
I don't really know, but that tag match with him and Ken Shamrock was something because Ken Shamrock was standing around the ring like a dumbass. Like I don't know what the hell he was doing. Like that match was it was something. But I mean, well now we got Motor City Machine Guns tag team champions, so that was great. It was good to see Alex Shelley and Chris Taylor back.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Legends.
you had the Good Brothers have come in. They beat Reno Scum on TV as well.
Heath Slater
Um,
getting that TNA World Heavyweight title shot next week.
yeah, I saw that.
Slater Gator.
So you had Eddie Edwards was the came out the champ of the pay per view, but you had also EC3 attacked Moose, uh, which I thought was interesting. I really like EC3. I think he is very talented, very creative. How the WWE were unable to get a good run out of him
I,
on the he
you
seems
wanna
made for the main roster.
know what's funny? I can't get into EC3 at all. I was like real into the character when he was in NXT. Like I was
Mm.
like, this guy's like great, and I couldn't wait to see him get to the main roster. Like even
He
of course back
seemed
when
made for it though, didn't he? Like, do you know what I mean? He seemed like a
his,
Vince McMahon guy.
his style replicates what they do on the main roster. Like I don't think his character fit in the NXT, but I don't think his in ring work fit into
No,
NXT at all. But I think WWE kind of they did drop the ball with EC3. He could have been something real big on the main. He could I don't think he would have been world champion, but I definitely think he could have been like
he could have
I could see
been.
him like a 5-time Intercontinental champion,
Yeah,
5-time US champion, and just being like one of those irritants in the like keep creeping up
yeah.
in the world title scene, getting the title shot. Definitely see that, but I can't get into him. Like I felt like WWE kind of took me like out of
Took you out of
EC3.
him.
Yeah,
I liked some of these vignettes and promos that he's been running himself. I think they've been quite interesting because I was interested to see whether he was going to come back as Ethan Carter the third or as EC3 and like a different variation of EC3, or whether they were going to kind of go back to his original Impact character, which he was one of their biggest stars for a good few years. I really used to enjoy his feud with Matt Hardy. I thought they bounced off each other really well with the broken gimmick and stuff. What do you think though overall of Impact signed? Who have they signed altogether? EC3, Deonna Purrazzo, the Motor City Machine Guns, Heath Slater, whether it's for a permanent contract or if he's just come in for a short run. There was someone else as well, one more person. The Good Brothers, obviously.
Brian Myers.
Brian Myers, yeah. What do you think about them signing all those guys? Do you think it's good or bad?
I don't think really if I really got shit to lose from signing them, like at all.
I think the Good Brothers have got a big upside, don't they?
I think it would hurt AEW more to keep signing ex WWE guys that just got released, but I don't think it hurts Impact at all. I think it only just helps them. Honestly, it's kind of weird how that works, but I think that's what it is.
I think it's freshened up their roster a little bit. I think the Good Brothers have a big following. They've obviously got like things like Talker Shop Mania. They've got this big podcast. They have a following of people who are very loyal, like those kind of Bullet Club fans, whatever you want to say. They're quite loyal. They'll watch whatever they're on. They'll listen to every podcast they're on. They'll buy all the merch that they sell. So I think from that point of view, I think it's intelligent to sign them. EC3 again, I think is a good signing. Motor City Machine Guns, I feel like they were really needed to them, and the Good Brothers makes that tag team division look real nice on Impact. So I think that's a good little addition. Brian Myers and Heath Slater. Not sure about Myers, what they'll do with him. Maybe he'll surprise me and they'll do something real cool, but not sure. Heath Slater is super talented. I feel like he just needs a chance, but it's got to be with the right situation and the right company. Not sure if replicating Heath Slater and Rhino as a tag team is going to be the way to go. Or having him straight into a world title shot either. Okay. And what's coming up next week? So, I think we got that tag match next week, isn't it? On AEW.
And New Japan is running a stadium show on the 29th.
Oh, yeah, with fans.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you about. The Dark Order. Are they losing steam a little bit with this, the way they're portraying them? And I'm just not quite sure about what they're doing with Luke Harper. And I feel like it's like Luke Harper, and then he's surrounded by a load of jobbers who I don't really care about. And I don't know if it's hurting him. How do you think they're doing?
I think Dark Order's doing just fine. They got Anna Jay in there as a part of their women's division. As a part of the only female in the group. I think they just fine. I think they just trying to rebuild after Brody Lee, lost the world title match. I think it's kind of hard to rebuild somebody after they just lost the biggest match they could have. So I think they're doing a good job. They just adding different layers. Like they trying to fully convert Colt Cabana, and Colt Cabana's like, no, I'm just hanging out with them. They're cool.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to see Colt Cabana go full Dark Order cult?
No, I think they need to keep doing what they're doing. Keep having them be delusional. He's just
just friends.
Yeah.
If you could add one person from anywhere in AEW to the Dark Order, who would it be?
If I could add anybody to the Dark Order?
Yeah. But who is currently signed from AEW?
It had to be somebody that's like weird, but like I don't know. I don't think nobody. Honestly, I think they go where they are. Like I can't see anybody else like really fitting in. I think Hangman is perfect for like a 4 horseman group.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
think him, FTR, and Cody is like the way. That's the way to go. Him, FTR, and Cody. I think
Yeah, I do
they are
too.
going to be crazy as a group. Like that's gonna be a real good group. Can you imagine Omega and the Bucks and whoever the fourth man is versus Cody, FTR, and Hangman?
Insane.
That'd be crazy.
Insane.
It'd be crazy.
Oh yeah.
You wanna know what else is crazy? It's like 12 o'clock where you at.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So, before we wrap it up, is there anything further that you wish to discuss about the wrestling world?
Mm,
Oh, what did you think of Evil joining the Bullet Club?
I don't think that was the plan, but I just think the pandemic has just really, changed a lot of stuff. But I mean, I ain't against it. I think this is the first time that Bullet Club has been all Japanese people.
Yeah, the thing is, they've got so many guys out, haven't they?
Mm.
In
Oh yeah,
Japan, they just
yeah,
had to do something.
yeah. I'm definitely interested to see where they go from here. I know Naito's getting the title shot at the stadium show next month, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do from right there. But yeah, another thing, Leon Ruff got signed by the WWE, according to PW Insider, so that's good for him, Mr. Leon Ruff. And yeah, I don't think we
Good.
talked about uh Ariana Andrew Cameron. She came back. She's gonna be in the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament. That's apparently gonna be on YouTube, which is a choice,
It's
but it's a choice.
it's weird that like she last wrestled 5 years ago. Like she hasn't been working any indie dates or
She was
anything.
supposed to wrestle WrestleMania weekend.
Okay. And then she's back. Like I know they'll probably just use her for the tournament and
Nah,
stuff.
she's not signed. She's not signed.
I don't really remember a great deal about like whether she was good in the ring or whatnot.
She was improving. She was improving, but she
But
wasn't like, you know.
yeah, if memory serves me correctly, Naomi was the kind of one who
Oh
was
yeah, Naomi's
the
definitely the
talent one.
breakout. Yeah, definitely. That's not even a question.
Tamatonga said that he's hopeful that New Japan and Impact can work out an agreement to work together. You
Yeah,
know why? You know why he wants that agreement, don't you?
he's hopeful.
He is hopeful because he wants to get back with the Good Brothers.
What you
Where
mean?
there's a feud.
They can work in New Japan.
Yeah, no, I know that, but at the moment they can't, can they? So, whereas Tamatonga is not in New Japan at the moment. So if Impact and New Japan was to work out a deal now, does that mean that Tamatonga and Tongaloa could go and do some Impact shows?
We'll have to see.
Do you think they'd have? Do you think they will just have the Good Brothers rejoin the Bullet Club, or do you think they'll feud with like God or whoever or the Bullet Club generally?
I forgot who's the IWGP Tag Team Champion. Oh, it's Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi Tag Team Champions right now. They're actually a good team. I wouldn't laugh at
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They're good.
I just it's Tai Chi. I don't know why. Every time I don't know.
Tai Chi could
Can't
put
get.
hands on you. You can put
Yeah,
hands.
he beat my ass.
But
But
we gonna see what they do. I'm interested. This guy, they bring him back to New Japan. I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be at the Tokyo Dome if they have. Well,
yeah.
I mean, shit. New Japan's already running stadium shows, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna have people at the Tokyo Dome. So, I definitely think that's probably gonna be when
They're
they
very popular in Japan as well, aren't they? The Good Brothers.
very popular. Very.
I almost feel like they have to bring them into the Bullet Club. I feel like it would be a waste if they didn't. But
I don't think it'd be a waste.
equally, the New Japan Tag Team division as it is, I just want to see a different team face God at the Tokyo Dome. Anyone. I don't care who. Just anyone but LIJ.
Well, LIJ, that shit ain't happening no more. So
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Like, I just don't want to see that same match again.
Evil Sonata versus Tomaton and Taylor.
I just can't. I
That, that
never want to see that match again,
that's
ever.
New Japan's go to for every big show.
Yeah, like I'd like give me anything. But the Good Brothers versus God, I think that could be real good. Like if they, New Japan's bookings normally on point. So like when if I
Have you seen the stuff about Will Ospreay?
no,
He said he was. Well, I don't want to get all like into it, but he like put up a message on Instagram. Said he was like thinking about taking his life
Jesus Christ,
because of the whole speaking out thing.
yeah, Jesus. What, like he was at the time, or he is currently?
No, it's currently
Jesus Christ, it's not good, is it?
his mental health bad because what he did but he essentially stopped this wrestler named Pollyanna from like advancing in her wrestling career because I guess she had beef with somebody that Osprey knows, and Osprey basically got her blackballed from wrestling. Like I'm pretty sure it wasn't like something. Well, I don't know what his intentions were, so I'm not gonna say that, but I'm going to assume that it wasn't
Yeah,
like purposely trying to get her blackball from wrestling, but that's what happened. So you can't take
yeah,
that back, and that's what happened. Like either way you
yeah,
put it. So and I guess that like well not I guess, but a lot of people really hopped on him for that like real bad. I mean, because you got somebody blackballed from wrestling, bro, because they had an issue with your friend. Like, can't do that stuff. So,
no, of course not.
and then he like, he went public about his mental health and stuff like that. So, you know, I ain't wishing nothing on nobody. Hopefully, he get his, get the help he needs and stuff
Yeah,
like that. But you can't be an asshole to people, bro. You can't do that.
yeah, just be nice and just like the way I always look at it is even if I don't like someone,
Mind your
it's
business.
like just mind your
Mind your
business.
business. It
Focus your energy into positivity. Focus your energy into building something for yourself. Um, Alistair Black teases an even darker gimmick change. I've just seen. So Alistair Black has been written off TV. Alex McCarthy, friend of Ace Podcast Nation, says that Alistair Black was written off by Vince McMahon. He isn't a fan of Black's gimmick, and it was suggested that Alistair Black will return with a new gimmick and has teased on Instagram something dark and different. I tell you what, wouldn't mind seeing with Alistair Black is like a 2020 dark, like a Ministry of Darkness gimmick. Like I have like a dark stable. That's why I wouldn't mind seeing that with him at the helm. The other thing I was going to say, you mentioned AEW is doing a trios tournament. I said months ago, that WWE should do a trios tournament. And the thing is now is if they do it, they just look like they're going to copy AEW. But, they're too slow to do everything. They are reactive instead of proactive. Andrew Thompson, thank you for joining me as usual. I always cheers me up, no matter how tired, how I feel. Speaking to you for an hour or so about wrestling always makes me smile, always cheers me up. Tell the people where they can find your stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at @AD_Thompson__. Can also find me on Instagram at that same at. You can find me right there, as you see on the graphic below. Andrew Thompson interviews, where the stuff is, and
Stuff.
also to end this podcast, Andy Campbell is the GOAT, and that's all I got to say.
Andy Campbell is the GOAT. Subscribe, youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. We'll be back most probably next week to talk the Graps, and we will discuss off air whether we will review the darker side of the ring episode by episode for the people who requested it. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, thank you for downloading. We appreciate you all. Andrew, thank you, my friend. It's always my pleasure.